Get ready to rumble!
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Big Al and Don 4. We are the Savygents live. And we are live.
Hold on, dude.
What are you?
You said Big Al and Don 4. It's your boys. Say it yourself first.
Bro, anyways, you know what it is. The Savygents live. I'm Don 4. That's Big Al.
Yeah, don't confuse people. No.
No one's confusing you, bro. Nobody's confusing you. How you guys doing? Another day. I hope you guys are all good. Do we have a topic for you and a quote of a day? You know how we do. You want to introduce them to the topic this time?
Yeah, so while we're all sitting down.
Please don't stand up.
Yeah, so as I just implied, this episode is about the sit down.
The sit down.
We're not talking about mafia style. We're sitting down making a deal, capiche, capiche, kaboomba, goomba. You know, fucking in Italian, say what the fuck I want. You know, but like, whatever that means. Arrivederci. That was actually
Hey,
Italian.
get the fuck out of here.
That actually was Italian. That's a goodbye.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, motherfucker.
Manja.
Now we're just saying random shit.
That means eat. Anyways.
Yeah, from the one like lesson I took over.
It doesn't matter.
But I'm gonna take more. One of the episodes, I'm gonna do like 5 minutes in Italian and we'll put little subtitles on it.
I think that'd be awesome.
That actually would be.
That would be awesome.
That'd be pretty fucking dope.
A little bit of Italiano, you know.
Yeah, I'll just speak in Italian like advice in Italian and like we'll have subtitles on it. Yeah, that's next level shit. Ain't podcasts doing it in fucking different languages.
Yeah, dude, you guys don't fucking know.
Yeah, we'll throw some Spanish in there. And remember, in the Spanish, we want to say to the Spanish chicas, we want to say, poneme dentro de ti. This episode's going fucking.
Yeah, we're going nuts. We gotta talk about the sit down. That's why we're here, sitting down. I mean, we're always sitting down, but like, the sit down. And you gotta elaborate. Some people might not know exactly what that means.
Okay. So, there's many variations of it. It just kind of depends on how involved you are in the dating game, right? You could be a guy who's sat down once and you're out of the dating game,
That's
right?
it.
You could be that guy, or you could be a guy like you duck and leave a little bit. You get set down, and you're walking a little bit. No worries. It was what it was. It was meant to be, you know, and that's it. So basically, I sit down and it's like basically you're seeing a girl for a little while. It kind of, again, the timeline always varies from individual to individual.
It does.
Some girls will sit you down after a couple weeks. Some will sit you after a month. Some will sit you down after a couple months, and some will never sit you down at all.
Some girls don't even sit people down.
So like the sit down is basically saying like after you've been seeing a girl for a while, it's basically defining what the relationship is. It's like the what are we? It's usually happens right after you have sex, so be ready for that.
Where's this going?
Where's this going? It's like when you're a little bit vulnerable, they'll bring it up. They'll be like, okay, where is this? Because it's unexpected, you know, like. Maybe they've been thinking about it. They were thinking about it for a while, and they just thought that was the appropriate time. Like,
yeah.
I'm not knocking you, ladies. Like, you have a right. Like, you know, you're seeing a guy. You want to know where the fuck this is going. You have a right to ask.
No one else.
Honestly, like, it's cool. You know what I mean? And it's just like the important part about the sit down is just how. Number one, the girl brings it up, when she brings it up. And then number two, it's how the guy responds to the sit down, right? Don't be fucking throwing her some scams and fucking lies and continue on and saying like, yeah, we're gonna date, we're gonna seriously date and shit. And then fucking go out and fucking clear it in DC the next weekend, you know? Come on. Like, that's like, or don't be, and then another one is just like, you're not really feeling a girl, but you're feeling her pussy. Like you're enjoying the sex. Right, it's just casual, and then you're like, let's be more serious, and then you're fucking in a relationship that you didn't want to be in the beginning. Like, what the fuck, you know? Don't be doing that shit either, you know? So that's a quick little fucking intro, a little bit savage, a little bit gentleman, into what the fuck a sit down is. Thoughts?
Yeah, no, what he's saying is don't be giving out false expectations. If a girl likes you and she decides to sit you down, it's with reason that she probably thinks, well, she's hoping that you want to be her boyfriend and continue it further. Now, if you're playing the game, you know, like if I wouldn't say even playing the game, but like it really depends on what your feelings are towards that girl at that time. Sometimes you might not be ready for that, but she could be an option. But you just gotta be truthful to yourself, truthful to her, and let her know exactly what you're thinking. And number one, don't lie, because when you lie, it's gonna come back to you. It always does. We're literally teaching you how to be a gentleman when it comes to getting sat down. All right, now.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Like me, I've been sat down in places that I don't even think you get sat down at. But like, it doesn't matter where you are, if a sit down is pending, it will find you. I'm just letting you guys know.
It will. And like, and think about it, and here's the other thing about the sit down elaborate, right? It's like the one thing. It's not even like a card or a play. You don't even have to look at it that way. It's just like you're allowed to walk away. You know, like maybe you're just seeing this girl casually, and that's all you ever saw it as, right?
Exactly.
If she's like, oh, I want to be something more serious, you just politely say, hey, look, like I really enjoyed our time together. Like I really enjoyed this casual, but I'm not looking for anything serious, and be okay with walking away. Like, I guarantee you, I mean, it's happened to me a lot. Like, I've gone out like that as a gentleman, and I was able to continue relations, you know? And then obviously you get to sit down a little bit later on and just delays it. So also be aware of that too, you know? Like, just because you got past that one sit down and she's like, oh, wait, like, he's willing to walk away. Like, okay, maybe I'll go back into this again and see if he's ready to revisit this in a couple months. So you gotta be aware of that. Just because that one sit down's done doesn't mean there's not another one coming.
Exactly.
You know, and it's like, yeah, sometimes there will be a girl that never fucking ever sits you down. Like, yeah, that fucking happens. Like, sometimes it blows our mind, and it's like the best part in that situation, if you're just waiting for the sit down and it never comes, is just enjoy the time. And like, you know, maybe you guys are both like looking for something like chill, you know? Or like if it's bugging you and it's eating in your fucking mind, you can sit yourself down. I've done that a couple times and it's actually worked out in my favor. Where it's just like, you got that shit off your chest, you're just like, okay, I don't want to fuck with this girl, she's a good girl. Like, let's talk about what we want this to be. And then maybe you guys have that conversation, you reach that conclusion, you're like, alright, I don't want to make something serious of this. Or maybe you guys are like, you know what, maybe like we take this a little bit more serious. We don't have to like necessarily put a label on it, but you're just like, okay, like maybe we'll work on it and see if this could be something more serious, you know? It's just about having maturity, you know? And like playing the card right based on being honest with yourself and being honest with the girl. Bottom line.
No, exactly. Just like what he's saying, it's like, just be mature. And you know, the best advice that we've got to give is don't end up in a forced relationship, because that doesn't work. It's never gonna work. Let's say you like the girl and she sat you down and you weren't ready, but you liked her enough that you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna go with it. When you do that, now you're just like, that's false. It's a relationship that's built on pressure, which is not a good thing, because now she has given you higher expectations and you weren't ready to step up, but you agreed to that, but you weren't there yet. So like, just be very careful. If you're getting sat down and you're not ready, just don't fold because the girl's pressuring you to, you know, we should start dating. Let's say we've been hooking up for a month or two, and like, oh, like, what is this? You're wasting my time, blah, blah, blah. Like, if you feel that pressure, like he said, you have every right to just walk away. You don't have to get yourself involved in a forced relationship, because 9 out of 10 times it doesn't work, and you're stressed out guy because your girl's just stressing you out. And if you want to be a stressed out guy, go get sat down. The first girl who sits you down, just get in a relationship and come back and holler at me and see exactly how you feel. Because I'm telling you, it's not a good look. It's really not. Basically, you have your balls in her purse for like the rest of your life. Yeah, and then let's say you guys even take it further, and you know, because if you get sat down and then you fold, next thing you know, she wants kids, and then you're gonna fold on that too. Next thing you know, 10 years down the line, you just got a kid with some girl who you kind of liked. You weren't really in love with her. Trust me, sit downs are very critical. It can literally shape your life if you don't know how to act. So I'm just giving you the heads up.
And you think about the other way too, like on the other side of it, it's like kind of fucked up for the girl too, right? Because it's like this girl thinking this whole time like, oh, you're into her, you're liking this shit, right? But at the same time, you're just too much of a bitch to really say anything or walk away. You know, like
it's true. Don't be a bitch.
Like, I'm sorry. Like,
I'm sorry.
That's like, again, like to clarify, that term could apply to a guy or a girl. It's just based on a popular pop culture.
Yeah, vice versa.
Yeah,
we love all people.
I'm not calling anyone out like for sex. It's everyone. We're coming after all of you. You know, like we need to do better and we need to be better as people. You know, it's like why you come across someone who may have been through like a lot of emotional trauma. It's like maybe because like they've been fucked over a couple of times by somebody else, right? And like. Fucking like if you were a better guy or you could do your part in being a better guy or even a better girl, like we'd have less of that. And then the next person you come across, you'll be like, okay, we could actually start and build a relationship. We don't have to work on repairing what was damaged from the previous one because you were exiting like a gentleman. You handled the sit downs like a gentleman. Like the gentleman exit is fucking the best way to fucking exit, right?
Exactly.
There's plenty of people like I've experienced throughout my lifetime where it's like I've gone the gentleman route with the exit or whatever. It's just like, hey, look, I'm not looking for anything more serious. And it was clear about that, and we went our separate ways. And then later in life, we linked up, and guess what? We're friends, you know. And like it was never an issue, never a problem, you know, because it's two mature individuals making a decision about a relationship. It's just like, okay, I thought it was a fling. Maybe you wanted more. Maybe you had feelings, or maybe I had feelings. It can happen both ways too, right?
Yeah,
I could be like,
100%.
all right, I want more, and the girl's like, no, like. There's a couple times where I've been cut off a couple times earlier, and I was like, oh shit, like,
Yeah,
I didn't realize you weren't feeling it like that, you know.
Bro, it's happened to me too.
But it happens, and it's like important to stay humble and important to like stay like a gentleman. You know, like there's times to be a savage and there's time to be a fucking gentleman. And when we're talking about feelings, always be a fucking gentleman with the feelings. I'm not even gonna stress that enough. When we're playing with, when we're not playing. All right, I'll take that word out of there. When we're talking about feelings, don't fucking play with that shit. Cause karma will fucking bend you over. You know? And you'll feel that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll feel that later in your life.
Exactly.
Like, you know, like karma's like, yo, I see you been fucking with people a lot. Like you're gonna get fucked, you know?
Yeah, you gotta hold your composure. You never really want to do anybody wrong. You just gotta be, you know, straight up and honest. And like back to what he was saying earlier, like it goes both ways. I've been cut off. You know, girl, I thought, you know, it was going great and everything, and like she didn't want to go to the next level with me, and when she told me that, and I respected her. You know, like
yeah, it was like honestly, like I was like wow, that was like
all right.
I was like, you know what, like I was like I thought this was going great, but like obviously you reflect on it, you're just like, okay, it's only been a couple months. I thought it was going well, but at the same time, it's only been a couple months. I haven't really known you my whole life.
Exactly.
Like you don't owe me shit.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, like you're seeing where it went, and you weren't feeling that the other day, and that's fucking fine, you know, because like. Now we're in a culture of just basically we're phasing out people, we're ghosting out people, and it's like, dude, like the sit down is fine. Like you can sit your ass down sometimes, like if you want to, if it's on your conscience. Like I've done that a couple times, and like I said, it's worked out pretty much every time I've done it. Which is like you stress about that shit, and then you do it, and you're just like, you know what? I'm actually glad I fucking did that. Cause
yeah.
Like when you're honest, like you're almost fucking like
invincible.
Honestly, like that's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
People lie when they don't need a fucking lie.
It's terrible. What are you lying about?
Like for example,
what are you lying about?
Let me share a quick little. I'm not gonna go the whole story because there's a lot of other details that are a lot of different lessons not relevant to this. But basically, like this one of the girls I know, good friends with. She was seeing this guy or whatever, and they were talking about in the beginning about just like, how like she dates monogamously, and how the guy, he and a woman in like a long-term relationship too, and he's cool with that. At least that's what he said. Said he wasn't really, and then she asked him if he was on apps and stuff. He's like, no, I'm not on any apps, but he was. One of her friends took a screenshot.
So he lied.
So he lied, right?
It's terrible.
He lied when he didn't need to lie. It's like, bro, like. I get you only a couple weeks and things are going well, whatever. But you didn't need to lie there. Just if you're straight up and honest, those are great, you know. But her mistake was though, like she still liked him and she still wanted to entertain it. But she took that lie, the Tinder thing, and she made it more significant. I'm not saying like to dismiss her feelings or whatever, but like she made it a really big deal. But at the same time, like I was like telling her, I was like, you gotta look at another guy's side though. Like the guy over here, like he lied when he didn't need to lie. Yes, you know, but. For it to be smoothed over, or for everything to be smooth, it's just something you gotta take a note of, right? In the early stages of dating, like you gotta pick and choose what is gonna be a big deal and what's not, you know? If you're picking something like quick up, like along the lines of like always on Tinder or whatever, but you're not exclusive or anything, like that could just basically dead the whole op, you know? But as a guy over here, like, you don't need to fucking lie about fucking being on Tinder, you know? Like, it was a slight sit down, but not that significant.
It was
just
like
a
half-assed.
Yeah, it was a half-assed.
Half-assed.
Like basically, it's just like, all right, I want to find out like whether you're like talking to other people,
how serious you are
about this monogamous thing, right? And the guy like lied. If he just was honest with her, she could have took a step back and like, all right, okay, well I really like this guy. I could have made the choice. I guess that's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
people just want to be given the choice, right?
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like balancing that fucking out with the sit down, you know, and the reaction, right? If you're just honest with it. Yeah, there's nothing to fucking go. There's nothing that could come back and be like, all right, what the fuck, you know?
Well, Dale, let me just get this straight to just make sure the audience gets the full story. So, your friend and this guy, they were talking for like maybe a couple weeks, right?
For a couple weeks.
A couple weeks. Now, this dude was in, you said a long-term relationship before?
He was in like an 8-year like relationship.
8 fucking years. Dude,
So he's
the kid just got out of fucking prison, basically.
Yeah.
All right, now, so your friend and him, they're talking for a couple weeks, and it was almost like a innocent inquiry, like, all right, so, hey, I'm monogamous. Are you monogamous? And he was just like, yeah.
And then she's like, oh, so like, she's like, I'm not on Tinder anymore. Or like, are you still using the app?
and he was just like, oh yeah, no, I deleted it. And then, like one of her friends who's like on Tinder screenshots
like he like super liked one of her friends.
Oh, super like. So he screenshots his dumbass.
No, not her friend.
Her friend.
Her friend screenshots his dumbass.
Dumbass.
Yeah.
Got screenshotted.
Yeah.
And then she sent it to her. Oh my gosh. And then obviously she had the evidence. Right?
Yeah. But like, she took the evidence and like I mean she was like she wanted like clarity on just like what he was looking for, but it's like just the way she approached it was like it was a way like it's hard to explain, right?
And she went through to 100.
Let me take a step back.
Okay,
All right,
go ahead.
All right. So I'm gonna talk general and I'm gonna go into details. Okay. So general sense. Every single individual has a different language of how they should be spoken to for them to understand something and for them to accept something and not get offended.
Facts.
Number one. All right. That was fucking.
Yeah.
That's a big one, right?
Highlight reel.
Right. So and then we talk about breaking it down into the two sexes. We're not going to go into like everything else. We're just going to talk about male and female here today. All right. So you got male and female, right? The way guys think versus the way girls think, it's very different, right? So obviously there's some carryover. Sometimes guys can think somewhat like a girl. Some girls could think somewhat like a guy. There's carryover.
I've definitely met some girls with a dude mentality.
Yeah, there's definitely.
They're out there.
Or there's even ones that just have information. They just have knowledge, right?
True.
Of just guys that act that way, or girls just have the same, or the guys have the knowledge about the girls acting similar, right?
Exactly.
So again, talking about that major point about just how everyone needs to be spoken has a different language, right? So then you're breaking it down even further, right? So if everyone has their own language, and then you have girls and guys, right? So it's like that's another category underneath it, right? So it's like you got people, and then you got girls and guys, right? So people have every single person has their own language, and then a girl and a guy. So underneath the subset of girl, every single girl has a different fucking language. Every single guy has a different language.
Exactly.
But in a general sense, for a guy, right? A guy when he's dating, all right? Here's a fucking key thing. A guy when he's dating.
Take these notes.
He is not dating monogamously. Majority of guys. I mean, some of them will.
Yeah.
And if he is dating monogamously, you're never going to ask him if he dates monogamously. He's going to bring that up. He's going to say that straight up. He's like, yo, I'm a monogamous dater. But if you have to ask him at any fucking point if he dates monogamously, he probably does not. And if he says he is, he's probably fucking lying.
He's lying when he doesn't even need to lie.
When he doesn't need to lie, because guys don't want to lose the opportunity. But in his mind, though, as a guy, or the way the guys work, it's just like, I've done this in the past, like way back, obviously before I knew how to act, right? Where it's like, I lie about things I didn't need to lie about. You know what I mean? It's just like, you lie because you think like, oh, it's gonna affect the opportunity, right? But majority of times it probably won't. Like the girl, like will probably take a step back, and be like, okay, well now I know what this is. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And like if she's fucking with you, it's not gonna matter significantly. You know what I mean? So it's just like talking about the fucking point of like fucking like how guys are. It's just like we're not. Most of us aren't going to be dating monogamously, and if we are, we'll bring that up. If you bring it up, we're not dating monogamously. If they tell you, they're fucking lying, right?
You don't have to lie. It's all in perspective.
Yeah, 100%, right? So it's like you gotta understand like that perspective, and like when you're going into it, and like as a guy, like don't fucking lie, and as a girl, like if you notice something that bothers you, like along the lines of just like okay, like all right, he's doing his ass, but you also gotta be realistic though. He's probably like, we're not together, we're not in a relationship, we haven't been seeing each other for a while. He's gonna do whatever he wants, right? If it gets to a certain point, maybe if you have a threshold in your mind, like again, like all these fucking timelines are arbitrary. We start with that fucking now. Like there's no fucking time when you're like, oh, I should wife up a girl, I should get married to a girl, I should get engaged to a girl. All that shit's fucking bullshit. Throw it out the window. I'm tired of this shit, right? We're gonna change the society, put that aside. Right? There's no fucking time like, oh, you have to propose after 2 years. It's like, no, it's bullshit. You propose when you both are fucking ready and you communicated when you're ready. You get into a relationship when you both communicate that you're ready.
100%.
You go your separate ways when you're both fucking ready to go your separate ways. You see the fucking point I'm making? And it's like, if you have a timeline in your head, right? Maybe the guy has something different in his head, right? So keep that in mind. It's just like, if you really like this guy, give him a little bit of time, a little bit maybe extra time past your timeline to catch up to what you're feeling, right? Because sometimes feelings can be a little bit uneven. You can really like someone, and then like they might not like you really at first, but you give them a little bit more time and they like you, right?
That's
you go either way, right?
That's happened to me. It's
like
happened.
I could like really like a fucking girl and she doesn't like me as much, but you're like, you know what, like I'm not gonna pull the trigger yet. I'm gonna wait a little bit and see if she gets there, because emotions work differently. There's no fucking timeline. There's no way to set when that is, and this all comes back to the fucking point of the fucking sit down, right? It's like
it comes back, dude. It's a whole bunch of fucking guessing. No one knows. No one knows what the other individual is thinking, and no one wants to get hurt, so they want to ask questions. Cause I know how I feel, and she knows how she feels. So it's like, well, what are we and where are we going? Like the girl already knows in her head what she wants you to be, and it's most of the time it's up to the guy. I mean, sometimes you sit yourself down, you can go ahead and do that. Me, I'd rather not, but like, so the girl, she'll bring it to me like, okay, so like, where exactly is this going? And honestly, I just gotta keep it, truthfully. If I'm feeling her, I tell her. If I'm not, like, or if it's just gonna be, hey, we were just friends with benefits or like whatever, like you just gotta live in your truth. You really do. Because it's gonna stop a lot of bullshit from happening in your life that you don't need to happen if you just told the truth to begin with. Like the guy who lied to your friend, he didn't have to do that. But but now he deaded himself.
and like
he deaded himself.
And then on her hand, like even talking to her though, my friend, she was just like, yeah, I learned a couple lessons too. It's just like I felt like I brought it up too soon about like she was going with deeper stuff a little bit too soon. She had to like understand like this guy just got out an 8-year thing or whatever. Like there's two parts, right? She could have played a little bit core, but at the same time he didn't need to fucking lie. You know what I mean? That and then like everyone took hopefully he took a lesson out of that.
100%.
And hopefully she did too, because like I told her like what the guy's thinking right now, Chris. Like what the guy's thinking right now is fucking like he's thinking he wants something super serious, right? And you just got out of something serious. But at the same time, he didn't even fucking lie, so let's not go back to that point, But like, it's just fucking in about the sit down, bro. It's like, just keeping it fucking real, keeping it 100,
Well, no, and honestly, I was gonna say this as well. Like, when you start, first of all, if you're a girl and you meet a dude on the app, I mean, vice versa. If you meet anyone on the app, are they dating monogamously? Fucking probably not, because they met you on an app.
Yeah, it's like
you know what I mean? Like, you got both men on a dating app. It's a dating app where you go to date people. So, like, maybe that guy could have had a date a week ahead, like, last week, and you could have been, like, the next day. It doesn't matter, but, like, it's crazy to just have these, timelines that don't really make any sense because, once again, you don't know what the other person is thinking. But what I was gonna, like, fucking hit the point on is feel the tone of the day. The first day can tell you a lot. It really can.
That's true.
If you feel the tone and this girl's all serious, like she's probably looking for a boyfriend, getting engaged, and like, getting married. I've been on a first date and I've been asked, "What's my 5-year plan?" This is an individual who's way too serious for me. All right, and I couldn't.
This is a good fucking point.
Yeah, no, exactly. You gotta if you feel the tone of that first date, you're gonna know the type of individual you're dealing with. I mean, sometimes it might come a little bit later, but like the questions you get on the first date, if it's more casual, all right, maybe she's cool, she's chilling, maybe she's just testing the water herself. But if she's giving you like detailed questions and asking you, what have you do, like where are you going in 5 years, like what do you have a retirement plan, how much do you make, shit like that, like this is a more serious individual. And if you're not ready to go ahead and pursue it, like just fall back, just, hey, listen, I didn't like how the date went, or just phase her out, whatever. Just let her know, because that sit down is probably gonna come quicker than you think. Because women, they have a biological clock in their head about when to have babies and stuff like that, and they don't like wasting time at all. So, that's the best advice I can get,
All right, let's take a quick break and then come back. I think there's a couple more topics I'd like to touch on.
Couple more topics. We'll be right back. It's your boys. I'm down for. He's Big Al.
Yeah, it's not Bosch again.
We're taking a break. And we're back, baby. You know what it is. It's your boy Don 4 and Big Al. And this is the Savygents Live. We're just going to go ahead and reiterate getting sat down. See, we're going to give you some situations where it's okay to take the sit down and where sometimes you just got to dead it due to the circumstances. Big Al, got anything to say about that?
Yo, so first off, I'm going to start with the sit down, right? When it's acceptable. Alright, so embrace that shit. If it's done right, take the sit down, you know? Be honest with it. Be fair, you know? Don't fucking lie. Just do it, you know? You gotta fucking do it. You might be fucking a little bit, but you gotta go through it. Everybody goes through it, you know? If you're seeing a girl casually or whatever, like, doesn't matter. Like, there's gonna come a time where you get the question of, what are we? Where's this going, right?
Exactly.
So if you're at your house, she brings it up, take it, right? You're cooking dinner, she brings it up, take it. You just had sex, she brings it up, take it. You're at her place, vice versa, same shit, you fucking take the sit down.
Those are appropriate times to take a sit down. Now here are some examples of sometimes that are not appropriate. Number one, if you're on a vacation and you're getting sat down from, like, you're on a beach and your girl's not even in town, or what's that, you don't take that sit down.
Especially when she knows you're on vacation.
Exactly.
That's the key point about it. When she knows you're on vacation, trying to sit your ass down, you respectfully like, hey, look, I'm on vacation right now. You know I'm going on vacation right now. There's a conversation that we can have when we get back. You know, it's not like pressing life or death. You know, like especially like when it's a sit down. If it's the first one, okay, it's a little bit different, obviously, because it's like you're trying to get direction about where this is going. But if you already had a sit down before, like that could definitely fucking wait. You know?
Yeah, I've witnessed one of my boys get sat down on vacation. Like, he just kept disappearing every 15 minutes. Everyone's like, yo, what's going on? And I was like, yo, you're getting sat down? And we're all
as a joke, yeah, as a fucking joke. I'm just like joking, like, yo, what's going on, man? Are you getting sit down or something, bro?
And we're all laughing, but he was like, it was too serious.
Yeah, he was actually getting sat down, dude.
Yeah,
like, that went on for about a day, and we're just like, everyone was cracking jokes, and like I literally had to put a rule in place. It's like, boys, we're going on this guy too hard a little bit. He's already getting sat down.
Yeah.
We're basically sitting him down via jokes.
Yeah.
Like, just showing it. But I told him like just straight up. It's just like, hey, look, bro, like you don't need to be dealing with this on your vacation, right? Are you guys exclusive or in a relationship or anything? He's like, no. It's like, okay, dude. Did she know you were on vacation? He's like, yes. All right. Well, you tell her you can have a conversation this week, right? But if she wants to have a specific conversation about where you guys are going on as a relationship, you guys are going to have that when you come back from vacation or you're not with the boys. Because number one, her doing that to you is rude to you. You doing that to the boys, there's 3 other of us.
Yep.
Additionally,
there's 3 of us.
That's disrespectful to
us. 4
us.
of us all together.
Yeah, you know? she's disrespecting you and you're disrespecting
just
us.
being selfish.
And then you're being selfish by removing yourself from the boys.
Exactly.
And not dealing with what needs to be dealt with.
So you dead that sit down. That's deaded.
Yes, that's one situation.
Another situation is me personally. I've been sat down mid-bar. Isn't that crazy? I'm over here grooving, having a good time. You got the DJ playing. They're handing shots over the counter. Next thing you know, the girl I'm with changed the tone. She starts sitting me down, asking me rapid-fire questions like, what are we? When are we gonna start being official? I had to dead it right there. I was like, hey, listen. That's dead. I'm not taking that sit down. Not here. Not now. Another time, yeah, cool. We can talk about it. But I was perfectly fine standing up. Now I'm at a bar. You're sitting me down. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I mean, like obviously that's like what he's thinking about in his head. Obviously, not saying that shit to the girl. Let's make that clear. You know, it's just
True.
like always be a gentleman no matter what. That's what we preach in all our fucking episodes. That poise, being calm. Always be a gentleman. When it's not appropriate, just politely remind them, just like, hey, now's not a good time for us to have this discussion. We're at the bar. We've been drinking. I'd rather have this conversation prior. And that's what I was saying in the beginning, right? If it's at my house or her house, it doesn't matter. Any time of the night, any part of the day, whatever. We're just hanging at my house or I'm hanging at her place. To sit down, you're ready for that. Like, it's appropriate. Like, sometimes, like we said, like, a girl, you can do it whenever the fuck you want, but you also gotta be aware on the guy's side. If you do it too soon, you're gonna psych the guy out, and he's not gonna want to continue things because he didn't think you're looking for something too serious. So it's up to you to figure out the patience on the side when you're sitting someone down, and when when a girl does sit you down, it's up to you to be 100% honest and be ready to walk if you're not ready for something like that.
There you go.
And like I said, there's been instances where the girl would come back, whatever, like after it says like, yo, I'm ready to, like, we should just go our separate ways, you know? And then they're like, you know what, I thought about it. I'm okay with casual. Like, you know, maybe I had in this mind, like I had this preconceived notion that we had to be something, but like at the same time I'm cool and like you how we're doing it, you know? It's just communication, honesty, appropriate place, right? And then we have one more example of fucking an inappropriate place we sat down. Like, right, so we covered at the bar, right? We covered
on vacation.
On your vacation. And then there's like the third one, that's like virtual sit down, right? So it could be via just straight up like again like kind of what the girl was doing to her guy on vacation, right? Via text or phone call, or it could just be anywhere. You just be chilling anywhere. Like maybe you guys are in separate places, separate town, but your girl was sending you fucking snap videos, one after another, and they're never ended, right? When I got this, like I told the girl straight up, it's just like, yo, honestly, I listened to one of those videos out of the 20, all right?
Terrible.
And I was like, I can understand where you come from, and I'm sorry, like you're hurt and you're feeling this way, but like the way you're handling this is not appropriate. I'd be more than happy to have a further conversation. And when number one, you're not fucking drunk, and we're both sober.
Exactly.
Like not just you drunk, but I'm not drunk. You know, you gotta be sober. That's fucking key. You know, like don't use that liquor. Like to have that courage. Like have the courage without the alcohol. You know, you're gonna be a little nervous, a little bit fumble, a little bit, especially if you're sitting yourself down, or if she's sitting you down, like cut you off guard or whatever. You know, but like just be understanding. Like usually the sit down typically comes around 2 to 3 months. Sometimes it'll come sooner. And if it's coming sooner after 2 weeks, be ready for the perpetual guy.
Yep, just be ready.
If it comes after 2 weeks, if you're cool with the perpetual sit down, then that's fucking something else. It's another conversation.
Yeah, if you want a consistent sit down, you're on your own, but just be ready for the initial. That's all we gotta say.
Yeah, if you tell like someone like, yo, this is what it is, and they keep sitting you down, if they do it like after 2 times, you need a dead dad. You need to walk away. If you're just like, especially if it's like very like, the timing is very like close. So for example, like they sit you down after a month, right? And then like they sit you down like a couple weeks later, like that. That's when it's like you realize that this is gonna be perpetual and this is gonna be throughout the relationship. It doesn't even matter. Like at least in my eyes, like when they're doing it like that already, they're gonna continue to do that in a relationship. They're like, okay, so when are we at this place? Or when are we gonna be there? And then it's like once you get the ring out, it's like, all right, when are we getting married?
Exactly.
And then once you get married, it's like, when are we having kids? There's telltale signs of a perpetual sit down. It's like it's frequently, and it's like it's usually like probably like once a month or whatever. It's like soon.
Yeah, when you have a recurring sit down, like it's like a Netflix bill, you gotta dead it. You gotta dead.
I mean, but if you're looking for it if you're okay with that shit, then you're okay with it. But it's just like that's a different topic. Got a little fucking on. It's like. There's different fucking variations, right? So there's an appropriate place to be sat down, and there's an inappropriate place to be sat down, and then like there's a recurrent sit down. If it's recurrent, you just gotta decide for yourself if you're okay. There should only be like fucking like, there should be only like fucking really like one initial sit down before you fucking date, right? And then it's like, okay, what do you want to be? And then it's like, then you should have like an additional setting where it's just like, okay, like finalize that fucking decision, right? So maybe your first sit down is like, okay, we're just gonna work on us, we're gonna be exclusive, right? And then the next sit down is like, okay, we're gonna take the next step. And then that should be it. It should be fucking like sit downs like fucking baby steps
every fucking week.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
getting sat down.
It's like every week, every couple of weeks, like that's just like, I mean, if you're cool with that, you're cool with that, but I feel like most men are not cool with that. And as a girl, like, don't do that to a guy, like, he will walk away or run, you know? Those are just kind of like a summary of like the different fucking sit down tips and fucking like when it's appropriate to take one or when it's not appropriate to take one. Just put your foot down when it's not appropriate.
100%. I think that's a good wrapping it up. I know Big Al over there has a quote of the day. I'm about to pass it to him. Just letting you guys know, if you're gonna get sat down, handle it like a gentleman. You know, key topic of this podcast for tonight. And we got a quote of the day coming right up.
Yeah, quote of the day. Excuse the burp. Success demands sacrifice. There's no alternative.
One more time, big guy.
Success demands sacrifice. There is no alternative.
Success demands sacrifice. Absolutely. There's really not too much to explain about that. Whatever you want, you just gotta go, and you just gotta get it by any means necessary. Whatever you gotta sacrifice to get to where you're going, it's probably worth it. 100%.
I mean, it's like basically like to me, it's just like it's all about time at the end of the day, right? I mean, and like the one notion about time is like there's always fucking time. I don't give a shit what you say. Like, I'm tired, whatever. Like, yeah, sometimes you need to take a break and you need to rest up, right? But there's times where you're just like, you're tired, but you're just sitting there and you're staying up for an extra couple hours just watching Netflix or just bullshitting around.
Exactly.
That's a different type of side. That's more kind of like you're complacent, like, you know, and it's like that's when you need to like make a move or fucking do something, right? For example, right here tonight, right? Like, we had a slight botch on our end, like we didn't charge the battery on the camera or whatever, right? And we had to go back and refilm.
Do it again.
We had to refilm some of it.
Do it again,
refilm some of it tonight, but like, I'm not gonna tell you how many times we've done it, but like the point is like it's late as fuck and it's on a Tuesday night and we're sacrificing other time that we're gonna be doing other things. You could be doing sleeping, just chilling out, having cookies,
but jerking off.
Like that sounds bad, but like any of those things, you know, it's like the sacrifice, and it's like Saturday afternoons. Everyone hits me up. It's like, oh, what do you want to do? It's like, as I go, it's business all day Saturday, and I'm just like fucking like, I'm not doing the wineries or the breweries in a day. You know, I'm fucking doing business and shit. It's a sacrifice at a time. And it's like, and when we had shows, or whatever, the whole fucking week, guess what it was? Promoting. The 3 weeks into our show, it was just promoting. It's a sacrifice, you know.
You gotta do what you gotta do to make it. It's very simple.
And then tying it back to this, right? It's just like sometimes you gotta sacrifice. Like if you're concerned about the nut, you gotta sacrifice the nut. Just because you don't want to fuck with the emotions. That's the key point. Is like, don't fuck with emotions, right? And it's like you're fucking with hers and yours by like continuing something that sounds false. Like if she wants something serious and you don't, just say that. If you want something serious and she doesn't, you also gotta let it go too, you know?
Exactly. You cannot, now in these days, you cannot be afraid to simply walk away. If you know it's not for you, then don't force it. Very simple. If you know like what she wants from you is more than you're willing to give, then you just gotta let it be. Even if you like her, but if you know that's not what you're looking for, then it's sometimes it's a hard decision, but in the long run, it's the easiest one to make.
It is, and you feel better after you doing it. I promise you.
Exactly.
I promise you.
Exactly. So most of the time we wrap it up and Big Al cuts it, but not tonight. He has a surprise for us. He's got a new outro. I'm gonna go ahead and give him the stage.
Okay. Yo, so tonight it's Big Al, Don 4. This is Savygents Live. We're signing off. Stay savvy, gents. And that message is SGC approved.